All right, so this debate that looks like it may be happening between Andrew Wilson and Candace Owens is stirring everything up. The internet is going bonkers. Absolutely nuts. This may be the debate of the year. So, uh, Candace supporters are claiming that Andrew Wilson is running scared regarding Turning Point USA and Erica Kirk in terms of uh, there's been all these punches thrown back and forth between both sides. Andrew Wilson is crapping on Candace for blaming Erica for the murder of Charlie, and there's so much going on. This is just a crazy thing. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna check out Michael Knowles from the Daily Wire, and he's going to give his feelings on it. There's supposed to be a big payout for this debate, so I don't know what's going to happen here. I am very curious. I have my popcorn ready because I definitely want to watch this. So make sure to subscribe, like, share, leave your comments. Follow me at Rafi the Realtor on Instagram for all of your real estate needs in Miami and the greater South Florida area. And you can support the channel by going to the Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment or description. Let's get into it.
As I mentioned on the last show, I woke up Friday morning to the news that I had been invited to moderate a debate on the murder of my friend Charlie Kirk between Andrew Wilson and Candace Owens. Andrew had suggested me as moderator, and Candace accepted, and then they started arranging the details of the debate. There was just one person they forgot to ask. From what I've gathered, the debate apparently involves big money. Hundreds of thousands of dollars raised as prize money or something. I'm actually not totally sure what the purpose of the money is. I think I'm even being offered a cut. In any case, after giving it serious consideration over the weekend, I will be declining the invitation. The whole internet seems to think this debate will be must-see content, and I'm sure it will be. I bet it'll get zillions of views. That is, in fact, why I'm declining. I'm gratified that the debaters think I have the right temperament to moderate. I try to be judicious, not get too emotional, not call people names, and so on. But in many ways, I'm probably the single worst person to moderate this debate, because for 10 or 11 months now, I have been very possibly the only person on the internet who has consistently maintained that our friend's murder should not be used for podcast content. On the debate matter itself, I've said many times I think the evidence is pretty clear that Tyler Robinson murdered Charlie. But that fact alone would not preclude me from moderating. Everyone has opinions, doesn't mean you can't be fair. The bigger issue is that even if I didn't think Tyler Robinson murdered Charlie, I am certainly convinced that the guilt for Charlie's murder should be adjudicated with gravity and sobriety in a court of law, rather than in an Ouroboros of endless, not to mention lucrative podcasts. The only silver lining in the storm cloud of Charlie's murder was the brief unity it brought to the right. You might recall it was very brief. The right came together as leftists at every level of politics revealed their rot and cruelty by justifying and celebrating Charlie's murder, in some cases before his body was even cold. Soon after, however, a cottage industry sprung up of Charlie murder content. Candace, of course, launched her series on the subject, which I've said many times from the beginning I thought was wrong and I wish she wouldn't do it. But it got lots of views. People found it very interesting. Then all sorts of other podcasters started doing their own shows, full-length shows, weeks of shows, months of shows, about how much they hated Candace's shows about Charlie's murder. And those podcasts got lots of views too. The other group of podcasters' justification was that they wanted to debunk Candace's theories, to get people to stop watching her shows. Many of them, I suspect, had very good intentions. But I said at the time that I thought it was a bad idea, that it would be counterproductive, that we should state our opinions, of course, tell the truth as we see it, but that to obsess over every theory and speculation and provocation not only would not work, but in fact would do more harm than good to everyone and everything other than the view counts and bottom lines of the various podcasters. I predicted that this issue would only be resolved in a court of law, that opinions would only be changed by the prosecution and the defense, the sort of thing we began to see in the pretrial hearing last month. that all the rest of it was noise at best, and at worst, a very dark form of entertainment. Basically, everyone ignored my opinion, and many people harshly criticized me for suggesting it. But here we are, 11 months later, and despite innumerable podcasts on the subject, the matter has not been resolved. The rancor has gotten worse. The appetite for the Charlie murder industry is higher than ever. So, this debate will be the Super Bowl of Charlie murder content. Millions of people will watch it, lots of money will be made, lots of opinions will be put forward. And I strongly suspect that this too will fail to put the matter to rest. Lots of very fine people, people I quite like and admire, friends of mine, think this debate is a good idea. I am in the distinct minority of people who have consistently held that all of this chatter is not doing any good whatsoever. Everyone else, on all sides of the subject, seems to think that we're just one podcast away from settling it. So because of that, I'm sure Andrew and Candace will have no trouble finding a suitable moderator, probably several, who holds a different view of the genre than I do. However, since I was briefly roped into all of this, I would like to make a couple of proposals before I end my involuntary involvement. First, I understand there's a lot of money on the line in this debate. I don't know the exact number or even how it's supposed to be distributed. If it's a split among the debaters and the moderator, or if it's a prize for the winner, or if there will even be a declared winner. I don't know. What I propose, though, is that every penny of the prize money, as well as the video monetization revenue from however many platforms this is streamed on and restreamed on, probably hundreds of them, goes to Charlie's kids. I would suggest a college scholarship fund, but Charlie famously hated college, other than Hillsdale, maybe Liberty, a few others. But put it in a trust for that, something, some way to avoid a circumstance in which anyone is profiting off our buddy's corpse. My second proposal is that everyone involved, the debaters, the moderator, the audience, everyone, agrees to keep the cameras rolling for as long as it takes to hash out all of the issues and opinions and intuitions and anything else that can possibly come to mind, and then to put an end to the Charlie murder industry, for the sake of Charlie's widow, Erica, for the sake of his kids, for the sake of his whole family, as well as for the sake of his political legacy, and not least for the sake of justice. Tyler Robinson's defense can make its case. The state can make its case. The rest of us can comment as hard facts come to light from the authorities and from the accused. Those are my suggestions, since I was sort of asked. I have no expectation that anyone will pay any more attention to those suggestions than they did to my similar recommendations many months ago. But the best thing that could come out of this debate is for it to be the final word of the Charlie Kirk murder industry. If I thought that were likely to happen, I might have agreed to moderate. And I'm open to being proven wrong. I hope I'm proven wrong. But I wouldn't put any money on it.
I mean, I hear where Michael's coming from, that it's kind of a shitty thing to do to put all of this money on the death of Charlie. But this is what all of the social media is about. This is what news is about. News makes money off negativity. All of these political shows are all about, pointing fingers, finding the wrongs in others. If everything was fine and good, there would be no political discussion. Like this is, it's all about saying I have the right idea and you have the wrong idea, and I'm going to tell you why. From that standpoint, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you don't want to moderate, don't moderate it. But the idea that the debate shouldn't exist or that shouldn't happen, I don't know. People have debates about everything. So I think the debate should happen. I think all of this discourse is important. That's my take. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe, like, and share. Follow me at Rafi the Realtor for all of your real estate needs in South Florida. And you can support the channel via the Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment or description. Until next time, peace.